Miles Sanders, though, the highest paid free agent of this class, potential high-end RB2. Let's break down the value here. 4 years, $25 million contract, reuniting. And this might be my favorite part of this signing, reuniting with Deuce Staley, his boy over there from Philadelphia, played with him for 4 seasons and had some solid outings there. You love that they went out and got Deuce Staley, his boy, made him the highest paid running back of this free agent class. Let's talk about all the things that went really well for Sanders and why it could continue in Carolina, but some red flags as well here. So again, the money, follow money, that's typically going to tell you a 3-down roll. And we already had Frank Reich come out and say, I want him in a 3-down roll. Mike Kay of the Panthers beat scene saying the Panthers' emphasis on Sanders today, especially from Frank Reich, is that he is viewed as a 3-down back who can do it all. Now, that would be a huge boon to his value because the big bugaboo for Sanders these last couple of years has been the lack of receiving work. He hasn't topped 30 receptions since his rookie year. He did have 50 catches, though, back then, so it's not like he can't, but he does often. You saw the reports in training camp, and you see it in games sometimes, that lets the ball hit him in the chest, and occasionally has these boneheaded drops. I don't think he's the best receiving back. I don't know if I agree with Frank Reich that he's a true 3-down threat. We will see. I'm not the one paying him $25 million. And if they're going to use him that way, whether he drops a couple or not, it doesn't matter because the fantasy points will still come in droves. Reich has featured his lead guys. Taylor averaging 17.6 carries per game the past 2 seasons. Before him, Marlon Mack, 17 carries per game. So it wasn't just, I have Jonathan Taylor, I'm going to ride him, which is an obvious statement. Marlon Mack's nothing special, and he still saw 17 carries per game on there. Colts finishing 5th in carries, 29.4, and run rate, 47.4% last year, 10th in total carries, and 9th in run rate the year before that. So they have typically, in Frank Reich's offenses, liked to feature running backs. Now, the big thing is the Colts had a solid offensive line for multiple years leading into last year when they really fell off a cliff. Do the Panthers match that? No, they're actually not bad. 15th ranked offensive line. Better than the Colts by a country mile, but you know who they're not better than is the Eagles, who Sanders was running behind last year. PFF's #1 graded line for multiple seasons in a row, including 2022. So that does definitely worry us a little bit, but the drop-off isn't too steep. The Panthers were, again, better than you might think, 15th in PFF, and in fact, they were 10th overall in that metric I keep citing, yards before contact. They were 10th, and the Eagles were actually only 8th there, so it's really not quite the steep downgrade many might say, but still, will Sanders match 5th in rushing last year, 1,269 yards, 8th total attempts? I bet you he sees that again. 9th in total touchdowns, 11. That's the rub here. Is this going to be an offense? This was the 3rd highest scoring offense for the Eagles last year that Sanders was performing in this career season. 3 seasons before that, 9 touchdowns, 0 touchdowns in 2021. And I just don't love this Panthers team overall. Plus, he's had injury woes throughout his career, Miles Sanders. So, yes, last year he avoided them and, again, ripped up this great season, 10 or more yards on 13.1% of his carries, 8th best in the NFL. I mean, he had a really good, efficient year, as he kind of always does. He's a good, solid runner. But I still don't love him as a receiver. He's going to get that volume all the better. It isn't as bad of a home as you might think, but it still is a significant downgrade from the Eagles' backfield last year. So you have to take that in account here with Miles Sanders. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.